Warren and Mike Bacon here at Portman Road, where Mike, we've enjoyed a game of football, haven't we? There's fans in, thousands of supporters. Ipswich Town lost 1-0. Wilf Zaha with a penalty to win it for Crystal Palace, but the result doesn't matter on a day like today, does it? It felt like at times more than a pre-season game, didn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, and I think fans did. The fan great reception, wasn't it? Sort of hairs on the back of the neck stood up a little bit when the players came out. I mean, I don't know how many were here. It's about 6,000 or so, but I mean, it was a great noise. No, the result, of course, is not the most important thing. It's just great to see some football, and I think it was a thoroughly entertaining pre-season. I've seen a few pre-season friendlies over the years, and that was pretty entertaining.
It was a proper game of football, wasn't it? Let's be honest. I think fans being back in grounds. We saw it at Dartford a couple of weeks ago now. That I think the players are up for this, and the Ipswich players seem especially up for it at the start of a new era. So many of them are new. It's got to be said, Crystal Palace had a lot of chances, didn't they? Particularly in the first half. Their finishing was pretty poor. The scoreline could have been very different. Times they got through the middle of the Ipswich defence, found pockets of space, used the ball well. But you expect that from a Premier League team, don't you?
Yeah, I mean they had a lot of class, and if their finishing had been a little bit better, they'd have been 2 or 3 up quite comfortably by half time. But I mean that was a great test for Town. I mean I'd like to see it. It's a great first. Well, I know they had Dartford, but this was a terrific test for Town. A lot of new signings in, a lot of new players in. Again, first time for a lot of fans to see these players at Portman Road, and I think they acquitted themselves well. Zaha was very classy. I mean, I was looking forward to seeing him. Andy Zaha, he's one of my favourite Premier League players, so it was great to see him, and he didn't let us down. It could be easy for a player like him to come along here and just sort of take it for what it is, but he was probably the difference, actually. I mean, I know Palace were overall obviously the better side, but his quality was outstanding. But Ipswich did themselves proud. I think they worked hard, they chased, they harried, and they showed a bit of quality as well.
Yeah, I think they more than lived with Palace for spells of it. They had spells of their own, didn't they? They had pressure. I think everybody here today would have enjoyed watching Wes Burns. He's direct, isn't he? Looks to knock the ball past his man and use that pace to run on past it. We saw him score a goal exactly like that for Fleetwood here back in May, where he just knocks the ball past a man and turns on the afterburners to fire home. So I think he was positive. Anyone standing out?
For me, I mean, I was Vincent Young. I know he's not a new player, but it feels like a new player still, even though I know he's back from an injury, etc. But I thought he was outstanding. I think Harper in the middle of the park, Raheem, he's a quality player. Had a couple of lovely little twists and turns. And Joe Piggott's my man. I think Joe Piggott could have a big season this year for Ipswich Town. I think if he does, I think he'll get us lots of goals, and I think he'll be a big fan's favourite. He's a striker who is not just strong. He can play, and I think I saw him coming short for the ball. I think in the first half a couple of times just to want to get on the ball. I think the fans are going to like him. And Scott Fraser. I mean, you mentioned him a couple of times when we were talking, Andy, watching the game. I thought he played well.
Yeah. Piggott came closest for Ipswich, didn't he? Off the outside of the post, really good chest down from James Norwood there. They had some good moments. Fraser sort of started the game wide on the left. He's a central player, really, is he? I think his best moments all came in the middle of the pitch, drifting inside. A couple of really nice kind of reverse balls to pick out Piggott, I think it was, and one for Norwood as well, just to show what he's about. But him and Piggott are short of match fitness. They come in a little late, particularly Piggott, who was a free agent and was training with Wimbledon a little bit, but they've come in a bit late. They're still building up to this, so for them to put in a performance like that today, at a time where they're not up to the level just yet. So there's plenty to be encouraged about, isn't there?
There is. And a quick word about young Cameron Humphreys. I thought, gosh, what he must have thought when the team sheet, he was told he was starting. I mean, he'd have been thrilled to be on the bench, I'm sure, and come on to start. And he did himself proud. I mean, that's a big game to come into. Doesn't forget the fact it's a friendly. You're up against some serious footballers there, strong, physical, and Palace played some great football, and he coped very well, I thought. And obviously a lot of young players came on as well near the end. But I thought, Cameron started. Good for him. I thought that's a huge game for him to come into.
Yeah, and the reason he was playing in the starting lineup was Lee Evans, who is absent with what we're told is a bit of a niggle. There's a chance he could be involved. Maybe not for the Colchester game, but for Millwall here a week from today. So nothing too major there. He should be back and ready for the start of the season. But yeah, you're right, Cameron, a member of that FA Youth Cup winning team, is staking a little bit of a claim. It's going to be a hard ask to push into this this first team, but he certainly did himself no harm at all. So that's it from here. Colchester for us on on Tuesday night. That's going to be interesting, isn't it, Mike? With a few familiar faces, but that's next up for Ipswich Town, and we'll see you at that one.
We'll see you then.